Hello, my wonderful students. Today we're going to talk about solving inequalities using division or multiplication, and this is 7.7, so chapter 7, section 7 in our textbooks. So as you can see, inequalities are very similar to equations. Our rules and our steps are pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that's different is instead of an equal sign, we are now using less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal signs. So again, when we think about an equation, there's only one answer, right? 2 plus 2 equals 4. There's only one answer. When we think about an inequality, there are infinite answers, okay? Because if we think about x is less than 0, how many numbers are negative? There's quite a few, right? There's infinite. So thinking about an equation is one answer, and inequality is infinite answers. Okay, so let's look at our example. We have 4 groups of x is less than 8. So when we think about this, back to our equations, we know what to do. We need to get the variable by itself. So to undo this multiplication of 4, we're going to divide by 4. And you and I know whatever we do to the left, we've got to do to the right. And we will get x is less than 2. All right, let's make that number line. So we have 0, positive 2, and a negative 2. We have a less than, so 2 is not part of our solution set, so it's going to be an open circle at 2. And it tells us that all of those answers are going to be smaller than 2. So we know on our number line we're going to shade to the left because it's smaller, less than. All right, let's look at our next example. We have m divided by 8 is greater than or equal to 4. So here our variable is attached to a division of 8. You and I know the inverse, the opposite of dividing by 8 is multiplying by 8. Multiplying by 8. And whatever we do to the left, got to do to the right. So 8 over 8 will give us 1. Those will cancel out. I bring down my variable m is greater than or equal to, and you and I know 4 times 8 is 32. Let's go ahead and graph. We make our number line. And we can graph a couple numbers here. So we have 32, 34, and 30. Now, it tells us m is greater than or equal. Remember, the line underneath tells us 32 is part of our solution set. So we're going to do a closed circle. And it's greater than, so we're going to shade to the right. Okay, let's do one more example with a fraction. And then we'll do our Chinese. All right. Miss you guys. All right, we have 3/4 m is greater than 15. Now, we have our variable here, and we need to undo. We need to get rid of this 3/4 fraction. Now, the only way to do that is to make it to the equivalent of 1, right? 1 makes it just m by itself, 1m. So to undo a fraction, we're going to multiply by the inverse of our fraction. So that means multiplying by 4 over 3, multiplying by 4 over 3. So this will now be 12 over 12, which will give us 1, and that's what we want. We want m by itself. We could put 15 over 1 so we could see it like this. We know when we multiply fractions, we go straight across. So 15 times 4, if I don't know it in my head, I go over here, and we're going to get 60. So we'll get 60 over 1 times 3 is 3. You and I know this can reduce, and 3 will go into 60 20 times. So we're going to get m is greater than 20. All right, let's graph. So I'll start with 18, 20, and 22. We know that m is going to be greater than 20. There is no line underneath. It has to be bigger than 20. So there is open circle at 20. And it's greater than, so we're getting bigger. We're going to the right. And there's our number line. All right, let's do a couple try these. I want you to try to solve any graphs at home. Well, let's do 4 of them. We have m divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 15. We have 3x is greater than or equal to 36. And I know some of you already know these answers, right? Because we can do it in our head. Some of us have great mental math. So I know some of you are already solving, but I really want you to work it out and I need you to graph, okay? Okay. The only one I think you might struggle with is number 3. So again, we need to multiply by the inverse of the fraction to undo it. So I'm going to give you a hint here if you need it. Okay, whatever I do to the right, I've got to do to the left. So that's the only one I'm going to give you a little starter. But the rest, I'm sure you're going to be fine. Think about what's the inverse of dividing by 3? Multiply both sides by 3. What's the inverse of multiplying by 3? Dividing by 3, both sides. Okay, we already helped you here. And finally, number 4, what's the inverse of multiplying by 8? We're going to divide by 8. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.